Sometimes they say that the classical spiritual journey always begins elitist, but ends egalitarian. No? So at the beginning, we are maybe more narrow-minded, my own path, this is everything, but eventually you develop this capacity of integration. As we already mentioned, I think in some other class, and today also, there's exclusivity or elitism in the beginning, and there is a form of exclusivity at the end also. When you enter into the specified ideal of service in the Kunja Vrindavan, that's pretty exclusive. That's pretty... no? But before that exclusivity, and after the initial narrow-minded exclusivity, there has to be some inclusivity in between to promote the healthy exclusivity at the end. So we should be broadening our horizons, if you will, and attain inclusivity before attaining the ultimate elitism in the lila, so to say. Because if we do not do so, then when the time for that happen, if that doesn't happen, we run the risk of becoming a cult, even in the name. If there's no inclusivity, there's only exclusivity from day one and continues being more and more exclusive. That's a cultish scenario. And Gaudiya Sampradaya is not in its swarup, in its essence, a cult, but it can be represented in a cultish way. And it can be seen as such by many, even by us, or represented as such. So that's not the idea. So something that makes for a cult, it's that the cult is always self-referring. No? It all goes back to the cult, basically. It's only point of reference. There's no need to learn anything from anyone outside of the boundaries of the cult. Which, of course, because the cult contains the most perfect revelation in every single aspect you can conceive. So why lose your time looking beyond the fence, so to say? And again, it's interesting because if you make a study, almost every cult starts in a very innocent way, and even genuine way, but it ends up being a cult, becoming cultish. So it's a lesson there, no? I mean, some things can happen in between that if you don't work with that properly, cultish template comes. At least in some sections. So one way for us as Gaudiyas, we have to deal with this. I remember when we spoke about Apa Sampradayas, we mentioned Gaudiya is a Sampradaya. It's not Gaudiya Apa Sampradaya, but there may be Apa Sampradayic expressions of the Sampradaya. And we may be performing them, representing them. So again, one of the ways for us to deal with this properly and not end up becoming a cult is to proper dialogue, to remain open to other voices outside of our circle, intimate circle. Not only even dialogue among ourselves as Gaudiyas, which is fair enough to do so as well, but also dialogue with other traditions. Again, a very cultish apasampradayic expression. For example, let's go to an example in our own tradition. An apasampradayic expression of our sampradaya could be, again, a toxic over-identification with your own tradition, to the point that you are not able to appreciate anything beyond it, or to with your sampradaya, or with your parivar, or with your mission, or with your guru, or with your temple president. It's the same. We are terrified regarding watching beyond the wall of bias that may surround, that you have created, and for that not to happen, you're so terrified that you're just quickly attacking so-called outsiders by quickly labeling them, judging them, and you hide yourself from these so-called enemies. Protected, so quote unquote, no? So again, this is cultish. We have to be careful. In the beginning, this may happen if we are in kindergarten stage, but our seniors should watch out for that not to continue being established as the standard in time. So one of the ways to, again, gradually overcome this is to have meaningful dialogue beyond these walls of bias and fear and prejudice. And one of the options for this dialogue could be what we call interfaith dialogue, to talk with other wisdom traditions.